Welcome back, America, to the Hugh Show in the afternoons. I welcome for the first time in the afternoons Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor. Follow him on X at Byron York. Byron, I say good afternoon. I've been saying good morning to everyone all day and yesterday, but I'll get used to it eventually. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm slightly disoriented at this late hour, but here we are.
All right. Well, Byron, I want to cover three things with you. California's Chernobyl. That's what a caller who is an emigre from the old USSR called it, comparing the collapse of government in California and the wildfires to that which happened at Chernobyl, exposing the same kind of ineptitude. And I want to talk to you about the Hegseth hearings, and I want to talk to you about the hostage deal. Let's start with the fires. What do you make of them from the East Coast?
You know, the one thing that, well, first of all, I mean, it's just the scale of the disaster is pretty hard to imagine. One of the things in the debate that has kind of baffled me are the people who want to keep politics out of this. And I thought, well, this is a political question. I mean, all of these policies that may have made the fire worse and policies that might decrease the risk of future fires or the severity of them, these are political questions that elected people have to decide. And so if California decided not to clear enough underbrush over the last several years, which certainly appears to be true, if they had a terrible water management system and sent billions of gallons of water into the ocean rather than put them in a place where they could help fight fires, those are political decisions that a political system makes and elected people make. So, if anything, I think this whole debate should be more political.
I would like to know. I want to do this sort of Gene Shaheen style. Just direct answers, if you will, Mr. York. Have you ever heard of the Endangered Habitats League?
Habitat what?
Endangered Habitats League.
No, is this the group that protected that little bush out
One
there?
of them. They protect everything. They try to. Center for Biological Diversity, which has been profiled for its extremism in the New Yorker. Coastal Sage Scrub Conservancy.
Actually, I've never heard of them.
Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy.
No.
Spirit of the Sage Council.
No.
Sea and Sage Audubon Society.
And the answer is no.
All right, I'll swip from the groups over to the agencies. Have you ever heard of the Regional Water Quality Control Board?
What region is that?
That's every county in California has one.
Never, no.
Actually, many counties are often grouped in one, but it's a regional body. Air Quality Management District?
Yes.
Okay, California Coastal Commission?
No.
Okay, you see, I've been reading all these East Coast, you haven't made this error, but others have. East Coast people telling me, a West Coast lawyer for 27 years representing land developers, why these fires spread so fast. They don't know anything, Byron. It's government gridlock. It's non-governance. It's a stacking of incompetence that rivals any building anywhere. Do you think they'll ever wake up to the fact what they don't know?
You mean the East Coast people?
Yeah.
Well, it's more important that the West Coast people actually figure this out. You've got this whole situation in a one-party state, and they've got to cut through all of these agencies that you were talking about. And by the way, are the members of a lot of these boards appointed like by a governor, by the legislature? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I was appointed by Pete Wilson
political.
to the AQMD, for example. I got to disclose everything so people don't say I'm being. I served on the AQMD. Pete Wilson put me on. Democrats threw me off. That's how it goes.
Okay. So this is a political process.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the collapse of a political process.
Well, it is, but I mean, you need to have. It would be nice to have two sides, in the political debate over this. This is kind of like the January 6th committee, where everybody agrees, and the outcome is bad because you don't have anybody who will question the assumptions of everybody else. So it doesn't, it'd be nice if people on the East Coast understood more about this, but and I'm on the East Coast, but it would be really much better if the West Coast.
I think we're learning, but in a terrible, horrible way. If we go from the debacle in Afghanistan to the open border and then to the California's Chernobyl, Joe Biden's 4 years have been a disaster for the country. And he's walking around this week talking about his wins. How, I mean, are people stunned by this arrogance?
There was something he said the other day that when he took office, illegal crossings on the border just plummeted.
Yes.
You saw that, right?
I did. I didn't play because I just thought it was dementia.
And, Bill Malugin, the great reporter for Fox News, pretty moderately spoken person, said this is kind of staggering that he would say such a thing. I mean, it was just unbelievable that Biden would just actually say that.
Oh, I've got a Biden one from the State Department, which you're going to love. Can we play cut 14 for Byron York, please?
I put together one of the most competent foreign policy teams, I would argue, in American history, sitting in this room.
So what do you think about that one, Byron?
I think he's wrong.
Yeah.
What can I say? I mean, this is the president seems to be in more of a kind of a final days haze than I had thought before. There were moments in the USA Today interview where he seemed detached from reality. And by the way, on Thursday he's going to do his final interview and it'll be with Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC. So I don't think that one's going to be like fully grounded in reality either. So he's just going around telling everybody how great the last 4 years have been.
I'm grasping for an analogy. I came up thanks to a caller with the California Chernobyl. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in public office walk around denying the reality of what they did. Have you?
I was stunned again by the border thing, where you take office and crossings just shoot through the roof, and you say with a straight face that you took office and crossings plummeted. I mean, how do you do that?
Only if you have lost mental capacity, right?
Well, that could be. I was about to say, is this a product of his cognitive decline?
I think it is. When we go to break, I got to take a break here, Byron. We're going to talk about the hostage deal, and then we'll come back and talk about Pete Hegseth on the other side for a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere, America. We'll put it all over at my YouTube channel, so you can see what Byron has to say off air about the hostage deal, and then we'll come back and get a quick summary from him on Pete Hegseth. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, America. I'm with Byron York. Byron, the Times of Israel is crashing because everyone is trying to check every second the status of the deal, and the Times of Israel's best on this. What's your understanding and what's your optimism, pessimism about it?
Well, these negotiations have been, for a very long time, just a kind of an ongoing fiasco. But there's something very, very different at play right now, which is we're a little more than a week away from a new president, who, by the way, says that all hell's going to break loose if the hostages are still being held.
He said it 3 times, once on this show. Yeah, he wants that message out there.
When he takes office, and he, of course, wisely would never define what does all hell breaking loose look like, but people can think it might be really bad. So that is the factor that's changing things now. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is, at long last, some success in this. Of course, Biden could take credit for it, I guess. But everybody knows, the bad guys know that they are under a deadline, that it is now Tuesday, and that on Monday there's going to be a new president.
Steve Witkoff, who's the president's-elect's envoy, went over there and did hammer and tongs with Netanyahu on this deal, and I think that's what broke it open. Not only pressure on Iran indirectly, all hell will break loose, to me means we will bomb Iran, versus Witkoff in the whatever is the equivalent of the Oval Office with the Prime Minister of Israel saying, get the best deal you can and get it done. Does Trump get any credit for this?
I think first of all, he should if it happens. And I think even the sort of press observers would have to say, well, gee, I wonder why it got done now and it didn't get done, 6 months ago. And it just seems so obvious that the new and deciding factor played a big role in it. But we'll see if the media gives Trump any credit or not. Well, first it's got to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if Mohammed Sinwar's brother has fear of Donald Trump, but I think Khamenei does. Do you agree with me that the Iranian elite fear Donald Trump?
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't they fear Donald Trump? You know, I mean, the thing is that the Soleimani thing gave Trump so much credibility, and because it was an American president doing something that I'm sure the Iranians thought was unthinkable, and obviously they knew the United States had the capacity to reach out.
It left a mark. We got to come back on the air, Byron. Pause. I'm back with Byron York. We were talking during the break, and you should listen to this over at YouTube about the hostage deal. Now to Pete Hegseth. We got about a minute and a half, Byron. Will he get confirmed?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was actually a pretty positive hearing for him. His own performance was very, very good, balanced, well-informed, really the whole time, just really in control of things. And, you know, I thought that the Democrats flailed around a lot. And when they failed early on they began, there was a lot of emphasis on women in combat. And Hegseth, I think with an assist from Tom Cotton, made a very good case for standards. And that was the only thing he really insisted on. He certainly doesn't oppose women in the military. They're about 18% of the military. And women playing a wide role in the military. But in terms of the actual combat positions, that they have to meet physical strength standards and other standards like everybody else. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of Americans. And there was a lot of frustration. You saw Senator Gillibrand especially got really agitated in her examination of Hegseth. And then I think when they saw that wasn't working, they thought, man, we got to get dirty. And Senator Hirono did. And then I don't know if you saw
the Tim Kaine. Yeah, I played some of it.
A new low.
A new low for an otherwise normal man.
It was incredible. Yeah, I was surprised to see that it was Tim Kaine who did it. Hillary Clinton's running mate against Donald Trump in 2016, by the way.
Bill Clinton's BFF, as Megyn Kelly says.
But it was pretty amazing. And then that continued. There was some more of that later on. But I just don't think that's going to work. So
I think the one missed opportunity, Byron, is that Pete Hegseth said, I grew up when Bill Clinton was president, and I thought that's the way you were supposed to act. Because it's just, to me, astonishing what they did. But
I will say that Senator Kaine's questioning came very close to kind of making the point, you're a top government official. You can't commit adultery.
I know.
And you think, oh, my God.
I don't approve of it. Okay, everyone, I don't approve of it. But it's not like it's the first. I loved it when Mark Wayne Mullins said, any of you ever show up here drunk? He knows they have, and we know who they are. Byron York, thank you for joining me, friend, in the afternoon. It's great to have you on in the afternoons. Keep coming back. Follow Byron over at X at Byron York.